Hello everyone, it's Nami and welcome to my channel.
Yes, today I will be responding to a video by a girl who's like 13 years old. This is happening.
Now, a lot of people say the whole religion thing isn't really relevant anymore. It shouldn't be talked about on YouTube because it's stale, and the arguments are used over and over and over and over, and it's just the same thing. Yeah, I agree.
Now please note that this girl is obviously trying to ingratiate herself with the online community of atheists, not only by feeding their own talking points back to them, but look, she's actually wearing an Armored Skeptic t-shirt, and her affectations seem to be aping shoe on head. This is what I think a lot of Christians fail to grasp about the appeal of online atheism, is that it provides an easy source of community and of validation, especially when you're at a very young age like this girl, and you're desperate for community and validation.
But this guy, he doesn't. Why Atheists Are Missing the Target, by John Lennox, PhD. He is a mathematician, and you know, if you're a mathematician, and you're a scientist, and you believe in God, that is substantial proof that God is real. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. That's a well-known fact. That is proven by the scientific method.
Here she seems to be responding to an argument that wasn't made, namely that because John Lennox is a renowned mathematician, therefore his beliefs on God are correct. But this is ironic, since nobody parades their experts in irrelevant fields quite like atheists. So because Richard Dawkins is a renowned biologist, therefore his atheistic views are correct? Or because Lawrence Krauss is a renowned physicist, therefore his atheistic views are correct? Sorry, it doesn't work that way either.
How do you think science doesn't resolve problems? It creates a new one. When I decided that I was going to take this route, it is not the easy one. The skeptic route? I wish I could go back, not watch that first Repsion video, and just not be an atheist right now, because this is not the easy way out.
Yeah, so she saw a Repsion video, and now she's seen the light. This should be a cause for concern not only for Christians, but for anyone who values the intellectual health of the Republic. Our children are being kept on an intellectual fast food diet, such that they think that Repsion actually represents the intellectual high ground.
Okay. This is gold.
Because people have not been taught anything intelligent about God.
Because there is no intelligent thoughts about God.
Well, not coming from atheists in any case. You know, this is just tragic. This is the true closing of the American mind. Here you have a girl who's 13 years old. She's at an age where she should be most open to new ideas, most receptive to ideas, but instead she's being taught to reject ideas she doesn't even understand. Here she says that there's nothing intelligent to say about God, not because she's reviewed the literature, not because she's acquainted herself with the arguments for and against, but because that's what she picked up from a YouTube video.
They're very interested in the origin of the universe. They're very interested in the big questions so far as they can be answered by science. But one of the results...
What? Okay, so as long as they can be fixed by science, that's how you should be looking at the world. How else is it going to be, how are you going to solve any problems without science? How are you going to prove how the universe was made without science?
If you're truly interested in learning why the question of why the universe exists in the first place is not a scientific question, go watch the video I made 2 videos previously. In any case, I think you're missing John Lennox's point. He's not criticizing atheists for being interested in science, he's criticizing atheists for limiting the scope of their investigations purely to scientific questions.
I don't understand. There's no other thing you could do except lies. If you're into that. If you're into that stuff. You know, that sweet kinky lies. That's what I want in my bedroom.
Should I be watching this?
The reason atheists don't believe in God, not because they hate God, not because religion is very violent, which it is. And don't forget, it's a reason. The reason is that there's no proof for God. And don't say that I can't disprove God, because I can't. But the burden of proof is on the believer, bitch.
Yes, the burden of proof is on the claimant, and you claim that there is no evidence for God. Is this something you're capable of proving? Are you capable of, say, disproving every argument presented in the Blackwell Companion to Natural Theology? No? Well, then why are you claiming that there is no evidence for God? Is it because it's something you saw in a YouTube video?
I find, actually, that among young people, the interest is enormous. I often expect to have 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 students listening to me talk about God.
You know why? Let me tell you a secret. Because children and youth are the most gullible people. And they will believe anything you say. I know. Because I am still very gullible, but...
Yes, you're still very gullible, but you saw that Repsian video, and you saw the light, and you're 100% sure you're right on that issue. So, John Lennox's students, they're in their late teens and early 20s. They've made an effort to acquaint themselves with religion and philosophy. Meanwhile, you're like 12 or 13 and you saw some YouTube videos and you're criticizing them for being young and gullible. Are you seeing a problem here?
Why are you saying like that's a good thing? You indoctrinated them. That's not a good... Woohoo, guys! We indoctrinated thousands of youth! Yay, I guess. Yay. It's not like they formed their thoughts on their own. Believe me. Believe me.
Wow, you're accusing John Lennox of indoctrinating his students. That's a very serious accusation. Do you have anything to back it up? Do you have any proof at all? And you're 100% sure that his students didn't form their beliefs on their own simply by dint of the fact that they disagree with you. Again, do you see any problem here?
Because they're very interested in hearing a scientist who actually thinks there are reasons for believing in God.
What are your reasons? What are your reasons? I guess they're trying to not spoil the book, but I really wish they spoiled the book, because I don't really want to read a whole book.
Yes, these are the thirsty minds of the future. But you know, why would you even want to read books and deal with ideas when you could simply recite atheist talking points and have a whole online community reassure you that you're a member of the intellectual elite?
And their faith in God did not hinder their science, it was the motor that drove it.
Yeah, but you don't need that now. TLDR, that's what I've been saying.
We don't need belief in God anymore? Speak for yourself. Maybe you should learn a little bit more about the world before declaring that nobody has any reason to believe in God.
They had faith in God, in a rational intelligence, and that led them to believe, to have faith that they could do science.
You don't need that now!
No, the assumption that the universe is orderly and intelligible is still essential to science, and it's an intrinsically theistic idea.
You see, it's important to realize that science and faith are not two different categories.
Yes, they are! Okay, so, like I said before, if you're doing the scientific method correctly, you shouldn't need faith. The proof is right there. You don't need faith.
Again, Lennox is not talking about faith in the outcome of any particular experiment. He's talking about faith in the orderliness and constancy and intelligibility of the universe. Now, faith is not necessarily the term I would use, but I think Lennox is making a rhetorical point, and a valid one at that.
Ah, that's so dumb. That's so dumb. Okay, hold up. Let me... Faith. Complete trust or confidence in someone in something. You don't need that in the scientific method. Like I said, you shouldn't need to trust in your hypothesis. That's not how you science. That's not how you science. It is two totally different categories. Faith and religion is based on lies and manipulation. And more lies.
Well, those are very strong words coming from a very ignorant little girl, and I happen to think that militant ignorance is dangerous, so no, I'm not going to give you a pass because of your youth. Now, if you want to prove that all religion and faith is based on lies and manipulations, go ahead, be my guest. I happen to think, however, that you're simply taking what other YouTubers have told you on faith.
Faith in God and faith in science belong very closely together.
Why do you need faith in science? Why? 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 Why do you need faith in science? If you get proof, you don't need faith.
Now there's a part 2 to this video. I'm not going to get into it because the whole thing is just sad and disgusting to me, but it really goes into why I decided to create my YouTube channel and why I think every Christian has an obligation to join this fight. Now, if being a Christian on social media to you just means sharing inspirational meme graphics with Bible verses and the crepuscular rays coming down, I'm sorry, that's not enough. There is a war for young minds going on, and your inaction is culpable. We have allowed atheists to monopolize the internet with these simplistic, facile arguments, and young, unformed minds go on the internet and they glom right onto these simplistic arguments. It is an intellectual and spiritual disaster. Now, Emmy, as I said, I'm not going to give you a pass because of your age. You think you have it all figured out? Great, every 13-year-old thinks they have it all figured out. I thought I had it all figured out when I was 13 years old. Fortunately, I'm of the age where all the stupid shit I believed when I was 13 years old didn't get posted to the internet. Unfortunately for you, however, you've chosen to align yourself with a group that will shower you with so much validation, you might never have any incentive to critically examine your own views, and you might be stuck in a stunted intellectual adolescence forever. Now, I know they're going to flatter you, and they'll tell you how precocious you are, and how encouraging it is to see a young mind think for themselves, but it doesn't mean anything, because they'll flatter anyone who tells them what they want to believe, and what you're doing actually isn't precocious at all. You're doing something very typical for people your age, namely, you're aping the behaviors of a peer group in an attempt to ingratiate yourself. There's really no free thinking involved here, so I can only hope I've given you a wake-up call.